Eric M. Blake. Now, I have to, as you know, I do not see the questions and I open up the browser right in real time, so I had no idea knowing that this would be the first question, but nevertheless, here it comes. From Eric M. Blake, greetings, President Bill Whittle of the Aurora Star Republic. Hello. Is it Prime Minister, Chancellor, Supreme Overlord? No, it's Vectron is the name. He has a space question. So what are the odds that Elon Musk is actually secretly constructing a Reagan SDI missile defense shield, the Star Wars program realized at last? Seriously, with Putin bragging about his unlimited range hypersonic missiles and, of course, Iran and maybe North Korea, if talks go south, I would think that an under-the-table development of the SDI would be ideal. And let's face it, if anyone can pull it off, it's Elon Musk. Thoughts? Yeah, I hate to disagree with you, Eric, especially after such a nice opening, but I think Elon Musk would be just terrible at that. The same things that made the Falcon Heavy launch as an example so compelling. The fun with the guy in the car, red convertible, his arm, out there listening to David Bowie playing "Don't Panic" from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy on the screens. That kind of a mind is terrific at big programs and big new things. But the anti-missile problem is a very different animal. And all of the things that would have made Lockheed or Northrop or Boeing terrible at developing a new booster and certainly selling it to the people in terms of just making it cool, instead of selling it to the government for hundreds of trillions of dollars. Those are the guys you want, I think, working on something like missile defense. To be perfectly honest with you, I don't. It's not to say it couldn't use improvements, but we've got a pretty decent anti-missile defense right now. Vladimir Putin can talk about an unlimited range hypersonic missile, but ICBM from the 1960s is an unlimited range hypersonic missile. So I think it'd be much easier to shoot down a cruise missile than it would, even if it's going faster than the speed of sound, because hypersonic usually means Mach 5, 6, 7, somewhere around there. Warheads coming into the atmosphere from a 50-year-old ICBM are coming in at Mach 24, 25, something like that. It doesn't seem to me that there's anything new on the table. No one, I think, seriously expects that there's any defense against a full-scale nuclear attack by us, from us, the Chinese, anything more than, let's say, 10 or maybe 15 or 20 inbound words. It's just off the top of my head guess. Man, this hurts. But if we're dealing with a smaller number, certainly what North Korea or Iran could throw if they decide to go that route, which would be a mistake on their part. I, living in Los Angeles, which is one of the potential target areas, am exceedingly comfortable with our ability to knock down a handful of incoming ICBMs. We haven't exactly gone, well, in this line of work, if you're not going forward, you're going backward. And to that degree, when Obama shut down a bunch of these programs, it certainly didn't help us any. But, for instance, I'd like to have the airborne laser back, the 747 boost phase laser. But basically what we've got is we've got a realistically good defense for the coast phase and a pretty good defense for the terminal phase. I don't know if we have anything for the boost phase right off the bat, but I'm sure we actually probably do, because I'm sure there are missiles in theater, and I'm not worried about it. Something else that I do not have the link in front of me, and I don't know how to find it. Hang on. I was playing with this the other day in the airport. My wife was somewhat perturbed because I was looking at, let's see, interactive nuclear blast simulator map. There you go. Been a big nuke map. That's it. Okay. Yeah, it's wicked cool. If you go to nuclearsecrecy.com/nuke map, nuclear, nukular, nuclear, nuclearsecrecy.com/nuke map, you will get to a pretty kind of a crude looking device, but it's wicked cool. And basically what it, hang on, let me just peel off the comments so I can see what's going on here. So basically what you can do with this fun toy is you can put a marker down pretty much anywhere in the world. There are presets. So for instance, I'm going to drag a preset and I'll set it to Los Angeles, California. And then I can enter a yield in kilotons, which I can just make up, or I can select from a preset. And then he's got a list of pretty much, not every nuclear weapon that was ever detonated, but pretty much every category or class of nuclear weapons. For example, I could put gadget Trinity test. Let's just do that, 20 kiloton yield. It's more than I thought, actually. And we're going to make the target point Los Angeles International Airport. Just have to take my word for it. So if I decide that I'm going to blow up Gadget, which was the Trinity bomb, at LAX, which I'm going to do because I feel like it, and I just simply hit the... I also have casualties and radioactive fallout, all kinds of cool things like that. So we'll turn those on too, and we'll make it an airburst, and boom. Okay, so if you put one right over LAX and you detonate Gadget, people would be surprised that the estimated fatalities are less than 5,000. It's a little worse. It's probably 9/11 half again. And the reason I'm doing this macabre and bizarre and seemingly heartless simulation, again, nuclearsecrecy.com/nuke map, NUKEMAP/. The reason I'm doing this is because people have no conception of how different an A-bomb is from an H-bomb. Now, if we were to change that and go to the nuclear weapon that the Koreans tested in 2009 was 6 kilotons. That was a dud. Let's blow that up on LAX. Yeah, it doesn't even leave the airport. Although 4,000 people died, that's probably how many people are there at LAX. But, you know, you're not even breaking windows a mile away, practically. North Korea's got the North Korean, it's the biggest weapon. It's a significant weapon now. They've apparently tested one in 2017, 150 kilotons. That's a big bomb. So let's drop the big bomb on LAX. Boom. You're still, 66,000 fatalities. And if you put it in the center of downtown, like I say, I know this is very macabre and weird and all that, but I'm going to try to make a point here. So let's just put it someplace really populated, like right a most populated area, bad case scenario, okay, right there. Detonate that. So that's a bad day, all right. If the biggest Korean nuclear weapon that they've ever produced were to hit the Los Angeles area in its most densely populated section, it looks like 161,000 people killed and 582,000 wounded. But that's for a 150 kiloton weapon. I think you're probably looking much closer to something like, let's see, biggest weapon that Pakistan ever tested, 45 kilotons. Densely populated area. Boom. I know, this is quite bizarre. Put it over Barbara Streisand's house. I love you, Steve Darrow. You are my favorite person on the internet. I will do that in 1 second. 75,000 fatalities with the biggest bomb that Pakistan produced. Now we're going to go out to Malibu, and we're going to. This is the greatest idea ever. That is the greatest idea ever, Steve Darrow. You on the internet for the day. We're going to move our blast radius here directly over Malibu. I've flown over that on Point Doom many times. I know exactly where that house is. So, yeah, I know exactly where to put this thing. Hang on 1 second now. And then we just put it right there. And if you put the Pakistan bomb there, boom. $2,000 fatalities. Which is, brutal. But at least you get Barbara Streisand, and that's the main thing. Now, if you take the biggest nuclear weapon ever made, the biggest hydrogen weapon ever made, Tsar Bomba, which was dropped and tested in the northern islands north of mainland Mother Russia, and Tsar Bomba was dropped at half power. It was the largest man-made explosion ever. It wasn't 45 kilotons like this Pakistan bomb. It was 50 megatons. But let's go all the way. Tsar Bomba was designed to produce a yield of 100 megatons, 100 million tons of TNT. So now if we switch to Tsar Bomba and we put it over Barbara Streisand's house, and I think we have to go with Tsar Bomba because it's the only way to be sure. Boom. Oh my God, the scale just zoomed out. Even over Streisand's house, it kills 874,000 people. If you put Tsar Bomba pretty much here in downtown LA, it's just overkill. I mean, the blast radius goes out into the ocean. Boom. Here come the numbers. 5 million people killed. But that's not going to happen. So I'm playing around, and I know it sounds like I'm being flip about something that's very serious, but my point is that an A-bomb and an H-bomb are very, very, very different animals, and no one's talking about H-bombs. Very likely an A-bomb that could be delivered by Korea would produce something like 9/11 style fatalities, maybe half again more. And that's not a good day. And I'm not saying, I can't wait for that to happen. I am saying that people have such a misconception of these things. We were in Honolulu. Let's see what happens if we put I'm going to put Tsar Bomba over Honolulu. So if the Koreans put a typical Korean weapon, they had a 500-ton one, and that's hilarious. I guess hilarious is probably not the word. 150 kilotons over Honolulu. Boom. Oh, it's a bad day too. But again, the actual damage radius is much smaller than you'd think. 142,000 fatalities according to this. And so this is the kind of threat that we're facing. And when people hear nuclear weapons, that's not what they think about. When people hear nuclear weapons, they think about H-bombs. So just to close this happy Halloween kind of thing, if you put what is a likely sized Korean weapon, let's say 45 kilotons, and you detonate this over Times Square, you detonate a Korean weapon over Times Square, you get 400,000 killed. That's if you put it right over Times Square. However, when it comes time to H-bombs, if you were to take the bombs, the missiles that were on the Cuban Missile Crisis, for example, if you put a Soviet missile from the Cuban Missile Crisis over New York, you don't get 407,000 killed. You get, wow. 2.5 million. Puts our Bomba there. That's unbelievable. 8 million. The fireball radius, just the actual size of the mushroom cloud on fire on Tsar Bomba is 6.1 kilometers. It's probably 4 miles across. Big deal. Anyway, enough of this silliness, but if you're into these kind of things, can't recommend it highly enough. nuclearsecrecy.com/nuke map. And I think everybody should have to do this, should have to understand what we're talking about. What are we talking about? And by the way, if you drop, last one, if you drop the Hiroshima bomb on Times Square, you get 263,000 killed. And another 500,000 injured. The 1 psi air blast radius is... So you're not breaking windows beyond 2 miles. Windows. Buildings are good within 1 mile. I don't know. It's all strange. I know it's strange. But in any event, these are the kind of things that occupy my mind occasionally, and I think people should have a good idea about nuclear weapons, have some fundamental understanding of what we're talking about, and I just spent a fair amount of time doing that, so hope that was as interesting to you as it was to me. And again, you can see that nuclearsecrets.com/nuke map. It's just if you're interested in things like this, it's very, 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 very well done. All right, moving on.